line basically from Europe, and we're gonna have to wait and see how successful it's going to be. Kritzkrieg gets pulled out immediately for Nox here, as Epsilon eSports is going to take up Revoluzion metagame in week number 4, ladies and gentlemen, of ETF2L Season 15 in the Premiership, powered by Blackout Gaming. And Granary and Process are going to be in the maps. Granary is number 1, my name is Pledge, comedians on the stream, and Mr. Slin is going to be able to take you through this middle.
Checking out Numlock here, pretty quick rollout towards the garage side, but he gets taken down immediately there by Tech. Mark comes in and takes down Shocky as well, so it looks pretty good for RLM. Can they make something happen here? Flippy takes down Mike, and actually they're up in numbers here, Pled.
Yeah, very well played by RLM, actually. All the haters that said, no, they're not going to take a single round tonight, ladies and gentlemen, they got a clear advantage. Are they going to get caught by the crit streak? I doubt it, but in all honesty, are they going to expect the crit streak? That's the big question. It's not just sitting on last.
Yeah, the problem here for Epsilon is that they didn't have their heavies up there with that Kritzkrieg, and now the medic for RLM does have his Uber, so they're coming in now off of that right side. The Chris comes in, and Numlock takes down Hunter. Mark goes down as well here, so Epsilon actually doing pretty well with this Chris. They're trying to hold off a scout down the left side. That's Flippy gonna go down there to Mike, and with RLM down 3, this push is definitely gonna fail.
Walter's managing to pick one kill onto Gear. Seeing Walter's kill Gear just confuses my mind, I'm gonna tell you right now, as I've casted him Epsilon for 3 seasons, and now suddenly here he is playing for the opposite team. Bash is going to try and be a little bit aggressive here on the side, might end up costing him his life, but in the end, so far, it looks like Epsilon really making sure that the crit streak paid dividends, and with about 70% ready to rock and roll already, this crit streak is going to hit middle, and RLM is going to have to be very, very careful here.
We do see that push coming in, but Hunter takes down Shocky, and we see a trap from Mark on that left side, preparing for that push coming in from Epsilon as that Chris is popped there. Numlock shoots a sticky down the left side, taking down Flippy. Spin and Hunter both go down to Mike there, and 3 down now for RLM. Epsilon are pushing their way into mid.
Very well played by Epsilon so far, managing to get the damage done exactly when they need it to be. Spin is also dropped to the floor. He's only now going to spawn, so that means for the 3rd time in a row, there's an Uber Charge, aka Kritzkrieg advantage here to work with for Epsilon. And these guys, they're professionals. They know exactly what they're dealing with. They're going to build that one up. But knowing Epsilon, in all honesty, Epsilon likes pushing even in random 6 versus 6 scenarios because they know they're better. That is their instance. We're better, so we're just going to keep pushing, because even in 6v6 situations, we win. We will prevail. And with Mike going down right now, all hopes are going to be on this crit streak, though. Numlocked and his buddy Gear are going to be sitting around this crit streak. How many people is it going to hit, Slin?
Nice job there by Numlock to take down Walters on the left side. Not quite sure. He's going to look to take it maybe through the Z here, as Numlock is leading the way with Gear. And you see him now, the Kritzkrieg is popped, poking his sticky down that right side there, but RLM is prepared, they back their combo out. Hunter comes in from behind to take down Nox. Numlock able to finish that one off there, but the damage has been done, and now the combo coming in. Mark to take down Numlock. Shocky goes down to Flippy as well, and RLM successfully hold off that crit split.
One of the difficulties, obviously, with playing with crits is what happens if a soldier sort of catches you off immediately when you crits in. Is always a very difficult situation to be in. And Spin, not Slin, but Spin is now making his way in with his team. There's going to be a tongue twister throughout the entire game. Look at the back gap immediately. Everyone from RLM is just saying, no, screw it. We're not going towards that middle. We need to cover that first. And as soon as Bash goes down, they're going to make their ways in. Now, my question is, Nox has went back to Uber Charge. I think he could have stayed with crits here and be perfectly fine. He's going to decide, you know what, we're going to play it safe. When this Uber is going to hit us, we're going to just drop out, force that one, and then make our way through. And it looks like so far they're doing an okay job of that. They're even doing such a good job that they managed to push RLM all the way back. Now, Numlock has gone down and the Uber has been forced, but with only 3 versus 3, I don't think RLM is going to be able to do anything on this middle.
Well, they do have their demo man up alive here. Numlock is down from the 12 seconds, and the bomb comes in from Mike on the high ground there, top right crate. He's gonna get piped down and pushed. No, he's still actually chilling up there. He's actually keeping pressure on the combo as the scouts are coming in to help out Bash. Pressure on the demo here as well, and Nox is just 20% away from getting the Uber here. He's getting ready for this push.
10% still left here onto Nox. Bash being slightly aggressive. Gonna come in from the side, and Epsilon pushing right hand side. They know they have a window here to push. About 10-15 seconds or so for them to work with. Now Spin right now on 75% is going to be able to get himself ready. I think Epsilon might be a little bit late though, but they do have a 6 versus 5 scenario. And with Tech only spawning in 10 seconds, they're going to be able to find themselves a window, and even a 6 versus 4 scenario. Uber versus Uber is not going to matter when you have a 50% player advantage.
Oh no, and looks like Spin has popped his Uber first there. Numlock does go down to Haunter, but the counter Uber is coming in now. Mike is chasing out a soldier towards the Z, takes down Haunter there. The medic, Spin, going to go down on the point, and that's going to put RLM 3-4 players down there here as Mark goes to the top, and looks very good for Epsilon, pushing to last already. Drop.
Very good job, Epsilon, so far. Can they manage to do it? It looks like it. 6 raging Epsilon players coming up against one Frenchman with 7 HP. Oh, he's going to get dropped to the floor. And the 1-0, the predictable 1-0, but a little bit of a different 1-0 coming out for Epsilon eSports right now, as the reigning leaders in Europe, Team Fortress 2 managed to pick up the first round of the first map here in ETF2L Season 15, as week number 4 has commenced this week, ladies and gentlemen. It is Process Week. We're getting started with Process. Granary's map number 1, though. So far, a clear 1-0 lead. Can Epsilon manage to pick up this middle, though, in comparison to last middle?
Well, we see Mark already in on that high ground there and sticking out Numlock early on, but he's taking so much damage himself. Meanwhile, Bash down to just 25 health, barely makes it out alive, but 6 on 6 still. No player has gone down quite yet. Numlock pressure onto the garage, now down that left side, throwing in Pice. Tech takes down Mike, though, on their side of the map, and that's going to put him 1 up. Mark goes down on the point, though. Without their demo man, this is going to be a tough order to fill, but frags are coming in for both sides here as Walter picks up 2. Flippy gets another one onto Gear, and only Shocky is alive for Epsilon.
I'm pleasantly surprised with the middles for RLM, Slin. I'm going to be honest with you. So far, they've won both of these middles, and both of them, it was not because of something gimmicky. It was not because they did something crazy. It was not because they ran a pyro and got the surprise kill, right? That didn't happen. They straight up won. And if it wasn't Epsilon right now, I would expect this round immediately to go towards Revoluzion. But so far, at the moment, it is Epsilon they're fighting against. Can they break through here on last?
Well, they've had 2 good mids in a row, and if it wasn't for that that first round, the botched push against the Kritzkrieg, it would have been bad. But this situation here, 60% Uber advantage pushing into last, looks pretty good for them now as they're leading with Haunter down the left side, and Mark is going to come shortly behind. Walter goes down early to Numlock at the top there, but the Uber's popped in on last spin, trying to get some cap time on the point, takes the Uber saw off there, but more frags going down for Epsilon. This might be a big mistake here. So many players are getting dropped, and now, even though the medic goes down, they've put so much pressure onto the point here. Epsilon are doing a great job of holding this one off and completely wipe the enemy team.
They just all went to sit and spawn. Did you see that? They just went to sit. They were like, no, we're going to drink a cup of tea here. If that's okay, we'll walk over to the other side and just block you from actually capping this point, which is what they did. And RLM, second time in a row, they botched that last push. Last time it was because of the crits. This time because Simple outmaneuvered them. Nox had gone down, though, into that process. So the Uber advantages are completely even. And with a 450 HP fat Frenchman coming in here, I'm sure that RLM is going to try and push their way through the second point with him going down to the stickies of Numlock. Epsilon is going to reign superiority here.
Yeah, and Mark is actually pretty lit himself here. Backs himself off. Still 2 players down, though, for RLM. And Epsilon looking for this push. Even Ubers for either team, but you do see that Nox is on the Kritzkrieg right now. So we should be seeing Numlock making a move sometime soon. You see him leading the way here now through the garage, and he's getting ready. The combo's on the right. He knows it. He's actually going up top here for this crits spin. Now 90% dangerously close to getting Uber, but Numlock crits now. Sticky down the deep right side. Can he get anything? No, the first sticky misses. Second sticky missing as well as Spin pops the Uber to block the middle point. Here they come in now. RLM trying to come in and block as much as they can.
Yeah, very well played by RLM so far, doing a good job holding that middle on. But now here it comes. This is where Epsilon usually shines. These 5 versus 6 scenarios where they have a little bit of a disadvantage. They bait teams into thinking they are in good shape, and then suddenly Epsilon comes out, gets the kill. So far, though, RLM doing a very, very good job. Epsilon, though, turning it around, and the stickies from Numlock literally hitting absolutely everything, killing 3 players in the process. And right now, immediately, we can see RLM just on the back foot, and Epsilon making their way through. Mike finds the medic. Can he hit him? Double shotgun, gets him down, but Flippy on the opposite side kills his countryman Nox.
Wow, this is, I don't know if I'd call it sloppy play, but it's a little bit scrappy here. Both teams just throwing themselves at each other and sort of turning it into a DM fight. Epsilon are willing to take those DM fights because they know that they're superior in the DM, but still, it's not quite working out in their favor. They keep losing Nox over and over again, but at least they're taking down Spin in the process.
Very well played so far. To be honest, by both of these teams, they're playing sloppy, but they're playing sloppy within reason, I would like to say, in the way that whenever they're pushing, whenever they're doing something sloppy, there's always a reason behind it. There's no bad calls, there's no bad decisions. It's just players who sort of are over-eager about how good their aim actually is. As we can right now see, Epsilon's going to try and put some damage down, but it looks like RLM is going to be able to pick up this middle. Only a sticky trap from Numlock really can change this one around, unless some sort of weird crit sticky from the middle of nowhere is going to be able to touch onto Spin's lap.
Yeah, this is an opportunity here now, though, for RLM to make a push 6-on-5 while the respawners are coming up for Epsilon, but they do decide not to push into it, and it's going to be evens here. Still, that Kritzkrieg for Nox is going to be dangerous here. Epsilon actually gets Chris on down the left side. Numlock throws a sticky. He misses the first 2, though, and now Spin has had a huge Uber advantage here. Now he's taking it back in with Haunter, leading the way. Mark takes down Gear there, and they're looking for a second frag. Can they get anything here? Looking to the second point. All the players for Epsilon have completely backed themselves off. Only Numlock is really there to try and hold them off. And still 6-on-5 for RLM.
Can he do it on his own? Are you absolutely serious? The English Devilman's still there, just raining down stickies across that area. Now he's out, though. Now he's under a lot of pressure. Numberlock just dropped to the floor, but Mark has gone down as well, and Epsilon surely is fighting for this one. It is a 4 versus 3 at the moment, and RLM is not going to be able to take up this second point. They need to keep their medic alive, though. So far, they have done that. But Mr. Tech, can he do it? He's all the way out from his medic Spin, and Spin just going to run with the tail between his legs. Does Nox still have crit screen? I think he does.
He hasn't gone down yet.
He hasn't
it's
gone
incredible.
down. So it's very well played by Epsilon, actually, for keeping that crit streak alive. That is one of the strengths of crit streak, let's be fair.
Yeah, Nox, one of the better medics in the game, so good at staying alive, and just even though he's on crits defensively, it still kind of works out in his favor there. And you do see Mike now taking down Flippy on the point, and this cap is going to go down in favor of Epsilon there. One scout behind, it looks like he's going to get cornered off. Mike getting that second frag there onto both of the scouts, and that crit streak comes in and forces the Uber from Spin. Great reaction time there, but Hunter does go down. And it's only 2 players alive from RLM to make something happen. Mark, high in the sky, gonna crater there to shock you. And Gear picks up the last frag onto Spin there, so that's gonna be a wipe as Tech down to just 30 health, craters as well. And Flippy is all the way back at spawn. He's gonna try and set up a sentry at last.
11 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen, and finally it looks like Epsilon has caught themselves a break. RLM is proving up a very valiant fight at the moment. It looks to be very, very even, but every time you think they might have a shot, Epsilon seems to break through and finally catch exactly that sort of space that they need to cap 1, 2, and sometimes 3 points in a row. Obviously, they were all the way at their last, all the way at their second, only 30 seconds ago, but now with that crit streak already ready to rock and roll, the sentry is going to probably stand in the way between them and this 2-0 lead.
That crit streak comes in now on a Numlock off that left door. He's missing a bunch of stickies, but finally takes down Walters on the top pipe there. They finally spotted that sentry on that left side, and Haunter goes down to Gear. Heavy on the left as well. Gonna get piped down there by Numlock. That sentry still up. Can they take it down? They need to find it. It's behind that right side, and there it finally goes down to Gear, and the capture goes down for Epsilon to make it 2-0.
2-0 at the moment for the leaders in Europe. Epsilon eSports doing exactly what was expected from them. Maybe not in the fashion we expected from them, though. So far, Revoluzion and metagame picking up both middles and showing very, very good gameplay in their sort of 6 versus 6 scenarios. They seem to win their duels. They seem to not be overrun. And slowly but surely, they might be able to win around here, Slin.
Yeah, I really think that Chris Krieg play from Nox is really throwing RLM off of their game, and they really need to get them back into this, hopefully with another mid win. You know, as you see, Numlock, good sticky damage on the scout's top right side. Tech, though, comes in and takes down Numlock. Tech, he goes down himself, still 5-on-5, and RLM is all over the point here. Haunter and Walters both picking up picks there, and one scout gonna get caught out there on the point. Flippy takes down Shocky, and Epsilon are having really poor mids on Granary.
Yeah, they're not looking very, very solid. I don't know if they've practiced it a lot. You've got to keep in mind, right? Week number 3 is Granary Snakewater. And after that, you move on to Granary Process. And Process suddenly is the new one right there. And you haven't been playing Process for the first 4 weeks. They got to practice it. And right now, it seems like they focus their practice time on Process more so than on Granary. As their middle seems a little bit sloppy. But so far, you can say that they lost that middle. But in all honesty, they still have this full Uber charge ready to rock and roll. And Revoluzion and metagame throwing 2, maybe 3 players at it. There's right now Marco's down as well. And Epsilon is not going to dislike losing that middle in this fashion.
No, that is a big misstep there. Losing your Devilman, that's going to make it impossible for them to defend middle point. Nox on Uber, like you said, and their saving grace on that last mid was taking down Spin, who's on Crit Krieg right now. He switched himself over, and they're going to try and make a crit play from the top there. As in Crits right now, nice reaction time there from Nox to defend against that, and it looks like RLM's at a ton of trouble here, backing themselves off. Picks up a kill on a Numlock, though, despite that with that crit rocket. And that's a 5-on-5, and I think Epsilon might continue to make this happen.
Yeah, Epsilon is definitely someone who would like to make these, but I like the arc. The arc from Revoluzion and metagame is fantastic at the moment. They get the pick on the Shocky. There's like 3 players under 100 HP. Now finally some health as Bash gets overhealed, but Gear still low on that health. And in Revoluzion and metagame, very ballsy. I like the aggression that they're showing, Slin. So far, throughout the entire season, whenever anyone played Epsilon, you can feel that they're scared. You can feel that they just expect to be overrun. But this Revoluzion team, they're not scared. They're just gonna go, and this seems to be the best way of fighting against Epsilon, and they seem to have a very, very good shot of still turning this 2-0 around.
Yep, gotta be careful there for that Chris Krieg play. Mark and Walters go down at a crucial moment there. That Chris was gonna come in for RLM, and they beefed that by losing 2 players, 3 players here now as Flippy goes down on that right side. Chris Krieg in, but it's not gonna do anything at all as Nox has popped his Uber. Gear takes down Spin, and this is a complete disaster for RLM, who's gonna get the last player, Hunter, gets shotgun down on the second point. That mid cap goes down.
Again, it's the reflection right there from Nox. I like both of these medics. When Nox went crit streak, Spin reacted perfectly. When Spin goes crit streak, Nox reacts perfectly. These are two medics at the very highest level. There's a crit streak flashing into their sides, and they barely hit that Uber in time. Fantastic to see both medics at the moment. But again, whenever anyone catches a break, it seems to be Epsilon time and time again. Right now, it was a 6-for-0 exchange. Flippy is playing sniper though. Can he pick off someone? That might be a big deal. Does not get the body shot. He's going to wait for a little bit longer. Someone needs to open that door. So the French sniper's now going to back off and maybe get that first shot into Nox if he's going to show himself.
Now, this is looking very, very bad for RLM. 50% Uber advantage for Nox here, and they're looking like they take their combo down the left side relatively soon here. Yeah, Mike leading the way. Uber's coming in. Nice flashing there from Nox, and they're bringing all of their players in aggressively. Haunter takes down Gear from the high ground, but Numlock is able to take down Flippy, Mark, and Spin all go down, and this is just going to be 5-6 down here now for RLM, and Epsilon make it 3-0.
It's a graveyard of vet players there at the very end, as right now it's a 3-0 indie to Epsilon. They're looking solid, but not as solid as I would expect. Like, I cannot remind you guys of this. They look beatable. To me, they look beatable, but every time they catch a break, it is the Epsilon side, so they must be doing something right.
I think RLM are having very good mids, but their problem that they're doing is that when the push is in transition, they're just throwing too many players, and they're not doing a great job of keeping their own players alive. So let's see how they do on this next mid here, Pledge.
Let's see if Mike can follow up what he's been doing so far. Well, kill to Mark is definitely going to help, because Mike so far 4 dominations, and getting the kill onto Mark right there straight off the bat, it's going to lead Epsilon in their first middle win of the game, ladies and gentlemen. They're 3-0 up, and this is their first middle that they're actually going to win. Even the high five middle happening between Bash and Shocky as they cap that one off, and they're going to straight stream here into the second point. 100% versus 100%, but this is the Epsilon style of doing it. It just go. They don't stop.
I just want to point out here as we check the scoreboard that Mike has 4 dominations. He's absolutely destroying this game. Numlock with 2 of his own there. And that's good. The Uber is going to come in now as Mike early pick onto Flippy. The Ubers are exchanged on the point, but this looks very good for Epsilon. It's 6-on-5 situation here. Mike is searching for some more damage, but Shocky actually goes down on the point to a trap from Mark. So 6-on-5, 5-on-5 now. Oh my gosh, Epsilon players are just melting onto the point here. Not quite sure what happened there, Pledge.
No, suddenly the spam just seemed to connect. Bash gets a triple though. Can he get the quadra? Bash on his own right there. The German scout against the English medic, and Germany isn't going to prevail. Yes, he is. As a quadra kill now comes out. Can he make it a penta? As right now on the side, the kill gets picked up by Gear, and Bash on his own. Literally, I cannot say it any other way, Slin. That looked like a very clear RLM second point, but suddenly, out of nowhere, German Super Scout Bash shows up and hits about 6 meat shots in a row, kills everyone in the process, and Epsilon off the back of their first middle is going to take up the 4th round.
I have no idea how they're doing it. I mean, RLM are looking like they're coming on top of certain situations, and then they just completely beef it, and Epsilon's still coming out on top with the DM or something. I'm not quite sure.
Again, Numlock actually going down here on this 5th middle again. I think it's about 3 or 4 middles already from these 5 that has been taken down. RLM a very clear game plan, but the game plan this time around is not going to work. They kill Numlocked, but that is pretty much it, as the rest of the players with Epsilon just clean it up. And in all honesty, we might be looking at a reasonably quick 5-0 here.
Yeah, about 20 minutes, that's about as quick as you can get, Pledge.
I think, to be honest, I've seen Epsilon like do 8-minute 5-0s in Prem before, so even this season. So in all honesty, I'm a little bit still surprised that RLM has been able to hold on for as long as they have. But let's be honest, right? The first 2 rounds, if they would have got one of those 2 rounds, this game would have been completely different.
Yeah, it would have changed the momentum of the game, but right now it's looking like they're pretty bad situation. Down 4 rounds. Looks like Epsilon on the verge of winning it now as they Uber both their soldiers out the top, targeting that heavy early on here. Can they get him down? Shotguns are out. They need to finish off some frags here. Actually, there's trying a back half goes down for RLM, but doesn't finish off there, and Epsilon finish out this match 5-0.
Epsilon very clearly, at the moment they figured RLM out, they managed to pick this one up, and not surprisingly, but in the way that it happened, it really showed that RLM might have something up their sleeve. Process is going to come up next, ladies and gentlemen, and if RLM can pick around, I can feel that there can something happening there, if only the cards are being played right. My name is Pledge, with me today is Slin, and we're going to move on to Process here in just a little bit, as Comedian is going to put the commercials on, and we'll be right back here at Team Fortress TV with the game between Epsilon eSports and Revoluzion metagame. It's week number 4 in ETF2L Season 5. Don't go anywhere.